that is all the nasty wiring that I had to cut out of the system on the bicycle. So all that's taken care of. All the electrical on the bicycle is taken care of. I will be giving it a test run here momentarily. However, I wanted to have a talk with you about pumps. So let me get this camera set up and we'll have a little chat. You may be wondering why I titled this is imperative to your survival. And it's the same thing that I've really been trying to hammer home lately. And it's the importance of the ability to diagnose and repair, maintain your equipment. So I've got the bike all squared away. I've got the wiring all done. It's ready to go. I had to put some air in the tires because from sitting they were both pretty flat. And so I grabbed my trusty pump. This is the only pump I have, and I need to fix that issue. However, there is a reason why I have this pump, and if it's the only pump I have, that I choose this pump. For one, it fits on the bike rather nice, and so that means it goes wherever the bike goes. That's immensely important. Here's the thing. I got this out, went to go pump up the tires. Nada, right? It put a little bit in them, but it just couldn't even get it. It couldn't even get it above, say, 12 pounds. And so I'm like, okay, well, time to diagnose the pump. Again, the very reason I own this pump. Okay, let me show you something. The problem, by the way, was here. Let me show you where the problem was. This little cap here came loose. That's it. That was the problem. The cap came loose. So I found the problem rather quickly and rectified the issue. All was good. And I did a quick visual inspection, and I'm going to show you about that here in a moment. I did a quick visual inspection to check other parts, and everything seemed to be okay. So let's go ahead and take that cap off. And inside of here, we are going to have a rubber piece. And what happens is, if I can get that out of there, oh, the whole thing came out. That works too. So what you have here is a little spring. It's not in great shape. It doesn't appear. But you got a little spring in there. That just sets down inside of there, okay? That's all that does. This sets in there, and what happens is when you pull this lever, okay, it will cause this rubber piece to tighten up on your valve stem, okay? So if that collar is loose, what will happen is it will allow this rubber piece to scoot up instead of tightening, and it won't tighten down on your valve stem. So that's all. Very, very simple. I'm going to lose my cover here any moment here. But anyway, this thing, I've had this for years, and it spent most of its time outside. So anyway, tighten that down, and what really kind of got my attention is this was real super easy. This didn't have any resistance, and there should be a catch there. And I was like, sure enough, that's all it was. And now if you look, it has a pretty hefty catch to it, right? I'm going to lose that thing, the cap for it, which ain't no big deal. That's not that drastic. So anyway, I showed you that part. Let me show you the other part. So I'm going to pull the pump out, and I'm going to take out the first stage, and I'm going to show you how to maintain this. I used to do hydraulics and pneumatics, so this is literally one of the hats I wore. So I'll pull this other collar off here for this other stage. It's got two stages. There you go. And I mean, then you've got your barrel, which is, I'm trying to get it into the light just right, if I can get that. There we go. Down in the barrel. So you got your barrel there, and you're going to have a seal here, right? And so you just want to check to make sure that seal is good, and that seal looks fine, looks beautiful. And then we're just going to take a little bit of petroleum jelly here, and we're going to put it in the pump there. We're going to, oops, get a little bit more on our fingers, and going to make sure that, there we go. There we go. Liberal amount. Okay. Now, don't want too much. You want to be reasonable. But you just slide that stage back in. Put on the end cap. First stage, same deal. You want to check everything out. It looks like this O-ring here needs to come up. I don't know if you see it or not, but there's an O-ring here that needs to come up right there, because that O-ring is going to run right there. I believe it runs right there. Yepper. Sure does. So anyway, oh, that comes out apparently. Better deal with that. You see that screws out of there. So the piston, that's called a piston, by the way. So anyway, screw the piston back into the ram. This would be the ram. And then that's just an O-ring there to hold a seal for the threaded part. So anyway, do the same thing. I'm going to grab some lube. We're going to stick some of it in there. Okay. I'm going to take the rest of it. We're going to get all that good and lubed up, just like that. I am going to grab a few squares of toilet paper, wipe my fingers off. Slide it back in there. See how I push the one cylinder down, the other cylinder goes up? You see that? Anyway, I'm going to tighten down this end cap. And, whoa, I blew it off and it did finally come. I'm not going to bother with putting it back on. But there you go. I would say that's sealing. So that would be how you repair a cheap, inexpensive air pump. Stuff like that, I cannot tell you how important it is to have basic skills to repair things like electrical, you know. I understand pneumatics and hydraulics might be asking a bit much. I mean, that's not something that people would really necessarily commonly learn. But I'm telling you what, where I feel this country's going, there's going to be a whole hell of a lot of stuff we're going to have to be doing that today we don't commonly do. So anyway, build up those skills, folks. Ain't nobody else going to save you. Shalom.